Greetings, magical souls. Welcome to this live. I'm going to do something a little bit different today. I'm sharing something that's been weaving through me over the past few weeks, through journaling and dreams, epiphanies, deep inner work, and even a sense of remembering. So I'm here today and I'm actually reading the notes I've written because I do want to keep it on point. I want to keep it impactful, and I want to keep it short and not ramble because this is a live and I can't edit out all my, duplications. And all our time is precious. So thank you for being here if you are here live or when you watch it later. But this really isn't your usual spiritual chit-chat. I do show up raw. If you've been following me for a while, you know that it's been a little bit of a wild ride of late. And just please feel free to comment if you are on the live. I may only check it at the end, but we'll see how we go. So really, in a nutshell, I've come to realize that I'm no longer resonant with the energy of desperation, savior seeking, inauthenticity, or spiritual bypassing. And it's been coming for a while, but about a week ago, it was really as if a door closed and I walked away from the old world. And the universe has been and still is showing me very loudly and clearly that my field has changed. And it feels like people and situations are trying to pull me back into the old frequency. And it's almost like they're getting louder and louder. But I've realized that's because I have shifted. But it's like the noise out there is almost deafening. And I'm sharing this today because I know that some of you might be feeling that noise too. It's getting really, really loud. There's so many voices. There's so much energy. They all feel like they're vying for our attention and a piece of us. And maybe you've also been feeling the urge to unplug, to get off social media, to retreat, to reset. And so if this is resonating, stay with me because I feel it too. And yes, I do realize the irony, me being here on social media, inviting you to listen. But I think the difference is that this isn't to hook you in and it's not a distraction. It's more a remembering. It's a gentle, raw human sharing for those who just might need this right now. So that noise, it is really like being in that draining relationship, the one that's not good for you, where you're not seen or heard and it just ticks over and you keep giving more of yourself. But when you try to leave, the flowers come, the pleading phone calls, oh, I love you, please don't leave me. Why? Because I'm walking away and that other party is now noticing. And that is what this noise is. It's much the same. It's because the system is noticing that I'm no longer resonant with it, that I have walked today. I have closed the door. And I'm still wildly amused by those who are so worried that AI is going to take away our creativity, turn us into these mindless machines. Honestly, in my opinion, I think those people are a bit delusional because social media, the endless scrolling, the staying hooked into watching things that possibly just drain your energy and don't do anything for you, has been doing this for years. So humanity at large has already become the mindless machine, in my opinion. But anyway, so it's really why I am pulling out of all the other platforms that I'm on besides YouTube and my Patreon. Because on Patreon, it's a very intentional space that I work in. We come together there and we co-create. And that's my plan for my YouTube membership. But the rest of all of this noise, it's ironic because all of this, watch this now, or listen before it's too late, all of these clickbaity type things, it's all designed to literally keep us out of the now. And that's really where we need to be. But that's the bad. Like everything in this realm, there is good, because I wanted to touch on this. It's really important. The good here is that I get to connect. I get to build community. And I love you guys. And I love my small Patreon tribe. It's a very rich, intentional, beautiful space in which I choose to spend my time with those fellow people that are like-minded and that resonate. It's not this other noise. So I just want to say all is not lost, because if you are aware, you can choose what you give your energy to. And the fact remains that if it were not for YouTube, for me sitting here on this platform, I wouldn't be doing all the events I've done, where some of you have come with me, where we really make a difference. The healing work, the work with the dragons, the helping the animals. I couldn't have done any of that without this channel and without you guys. So I wanted to just really harp on that magic. That's the magical side of all of this stuff. So after all of this, let me dive deeper into the things that I'd like to share today, because I really am also tired of the spiritual bullshit. I'm tired of the fake world, and I'm so over any kind of drama that it's almost like I've become highly allergic to it. And I just really want raw, I want truth, I want real. And here today, I'm ready to really let my soul just speak unfiltered. So walking this path isn't neat. It's pretty ugly, actually. And sometimes it feels like absolute hell. I know many of you can relate. I don't know how many times I myself have found myself wanting to leave this realm, yet here I sit. But along the way of all of that, you know what I've discovered in this hell is that it's also utterly fabulous. It's real. It's full of meaning. It's alive. And now as we move through these quite tumultuous times, it's becoming even more magical. And I've been thinking for a while that the real me is slowly taking over or emerging, maybe even taking back the reins. But what I really think is happening is that I am simply coming home. So what I'm going to share today here may be triggering, and that's okay. These are the things that may disrupt some of those illusions others are still clinging to. But I've outgrown some of those old layers that I was carrying, and I'm just no longer dimming my light to make others comfortable. And I have finally just realized exactly what that phrase actually means in the past sort of week or so. So with all that being said, that's the background. And so I've cut this up into 4 main themes. There is an overlap between the themes, but I just wanted to sort of try and, put them into little sections. So number 1, darkness isn't the enemy. It's simply light that has forgotten itself. In the spiritual community, there seems to be a wave of fear moving through the collective, and some of it's being put there by so-called spiritual teachers. And I get it, because not only once was I there, but I also used to feel responsible for fixing it all. But I've remembered something. I am not here to rescue anyone. I'm here to walk in my sovereignty, and in doing so, I remind others of their own. So if you're facing darkness, I want you to know this for anybody out there. You are more powerful than anything trying to scare you, but the work is yours to do. And what I've come to realize about this whole theme of darkness is that darkness is just light that has forgotten itself. Even darkness is a part of source. By facing the darkness, you transmute it. You have absolutely nothing to fear. In fact, what you fear out there might actually just be the suppressed parts of you coming to light. And did you know that those entities that people are speaking of, did you know that we create some of those? Yes, thought forms. If you've been in a loop of negative thinking for long enough, your thoughts can become actual forms. Those things that have power over you are from you. They're your creation. And yes, external entities do exist, but so does your sovereignty. So does the unshakable light of source that flows through you. And I feel like we're seeing this bizarre behavior around us because we are changing. So some people are even appearing out of character. Some people are suddenly offering you unsolicited spiritual advice, or even using spirituality to justify odd behavior. In my opinion, those people are simply the ones who haven't done the inner work. And why do I think this? Because I think that those people are projecting. They are projecting fears that they haven't yet faced within themselves. So if you feel like you're attracting darkness or strange energies, know this: the brighter your flame, the more you catalyze and alchemize darkness. You may even become a mirror for what others haven't faced. And know that you are a lighthouse. And this is important. Some may be coming towards you not to heal, but to feed off the energy that they have not yet learned to generate for themselves. They're still lost in the distraction of everything. They haven't come home yet. And my dragons have taught me this over and over, because they do not judge the darkness. They know that even the darkest of souls is capable of redemption. Why? Because there is nothing more powerful than the light of source, and that light, yes, lives in each and every one of us. And this is why the dragons guard the gates between realms. Because although those souls cannot be left to roam the multiverse and the universe unchecked, they can still choose to remember their light at any time. It's merely the amnesia that causes the darkness, which is why this remembrance that we're going through is everything, absolutely everything. We are remembering our light. In essence, the dragons taught me that you don't conquer the shadow, you witness it. And that alone can be enough to alchemize it. And they also shared with me just a few days ago that darkness is drawn to light, not to harm, but because it wants to remember itself. No matter how dark the person is or the entity is, their light actually recognizes itself in you. And so like a moth to a flame, they move towards you as your light grows. This is an important thing to just notice here in this, what we're going through. Theme number 2, rescuing is over. I'm now sitting in the energy of discernment. There was a time when people around me reflected what I needed to heal, but something has shifted in the past couple of weeks. I feel like now they're just more reflecting. They're showing me how far I've come. But with that, there's been a strange sense of detachment. And at a time, I felt like I was losing compassion, like I was becoming cold. But what I've realized is that I've just anchored into my power. This is what discernment looks and feels like, for me anyway. And here are some of the things that have landed for me in the past few weeks, for anybody that's feeling a little bit detached and like there's something wrong with you, like you're not feeling anymore. That some people want a magic fix without facing their own shadow. Some people even blame me when I don't save them. But to those who've already done the work, my light that's now shining is warming, activating, and empowering. And the light will simply continue to do what light does. It illuminates everything. So maybe this isn't chaos that I'm in and that we're in. Maybe it's just clarity. And what I've come to realize is that discernment is compassion. Compassion for self, compassion for others. Because when I stop interfering in other people's paths, I stop rescuing and I let them rise. So important. Number 3, energy is sacred, and so is the energy of money. And this one hit hard because it wasn't even on my radar, because I've done so much work on my money blocks, my limiting beliefs around money, the fact that I thought money was evil, that I didn't want to charge for things. I've done so much work around that, and tied to that were my self-worth issues. And in the midst of many musings, imagine my surprise at a few paragraphs with like it's a totally different tone, and me with having no memory of actually written any of those words. It felt a little bit like a dragon energy, very fierce but lovable, but something that I needed to know. And what I came to realize is this, and this is for any of you that might have a spiritual business. I came to realize how many free sessions that I was giving every time somebody reaches out. But this pattern of doing this actually perpetuates the idea that people need somebody else to save them. It disempowers them. It drains me. It's again mirroring my own self-worth wounding, but it showed me something even deeper. That if I don't honor the value of my work, how do I expect others to? And this ties into money, because in this realm, money is needed to build, it's needed to grow, it's needed to just survive, it's needed to serve. But if I keep giving everything away, my time, my energy, how do I possibly create what I came here to create? And I have big dreams of what I want to create here. And one of the saddest things I realized in all of this, upon this reflection of what was given to me, is that sometimes the ones I was helping freely often aren't even ready for the messages I have to share. Because when somebody is invested energetically, emotionally, financially, what do? They show up. They're committed. They've done the inner work that says, I am worthy of this. So the bottom line is, when they're ready to invest in me or another healer or coach or whatever it is, they are ready to invest in themselves. And that changes everything, because then they are ready to maybe hear what I have to share with them. And too much free work leads to depletion, because there's no energy exchange. We all know that. But for me, that no exchange loops me back into a program where I keep undervaluing myself, which I didn't realize I was doing. And then that undervaluing myself results in me in blocking my path or becoming stuck, because the loops start again. This is so important. And on a collective level, if we're the ones that are here to hold the line, if we are depleted, who is going to hold that line for the waves of awakening people that are still to come? So I can't speak for others who do similar work to me, but I know that I don't just talk this stuff. I live it. As most of you know, I journal, I cry, I unravel, I have messy breakdowns, and I grieve the parts of me that are falling away. And, you know, I share this quite openly on my channel. So for those not new here, you know this. But it's real, and I live and breathe the mess and the magic. And yes, some will misunderstand this whole message that I'm sharing today. Some might call it ego. Some might even try to guilt me back into this free servitude. But I'm not here for that anymore. This is a really different energy that I'm stepping into. And I now serve in honor of myself, my worth, and the true exchange of energy. No more codependence. And the last thing, unraveling isn't madness. It is simply the path back to the self. So earlier I spoke a lot about saving and healing, and these are just words. And truthfully, they don't quite sit right with me anymore, but I'm not sure what else to call myself. So here we are. But it's really because none of us need fixing. None of us need rescuing. We are already whole. We just forgot. I want that to really land for you. And the other morning while journaling, I received this really powerful visual, which I want to share with you. I saw myself as a ball of yarn, and at the very center of that ball is a light. But around it, wrapped tighter and tighter, are layers and layers and layers of yarn. These are threads, beliefs, trauma, programming, even other lifetimes. And the ball got bigger and bigger and bigger. It got heavier. It got denser. And now something has shifted. It started slowly. It was like one tug, one thread. And now the yarn is unraveling. And yes, it feels like madness. The ball is spinning faster and the layers are coming off in a blur. And sometimes it's like hard to keep up. And as that yarn unravels, the light at the center begins to shine through again, because that density is falling away. But not because I went looking for it, but because it was always there. And that yarn, that like feeling, it's just everything that I'm not. And it's now dissolving. The stronger that light shines. But because of the inner work, my core is strong. And that's my compass. That's my discernment. That core. It doesn't shake. It doesn't wobble. It guides. I have become my own lighthouse. And to know thyself, that phrase, it's not just a fluffy phrase anymore. It's actually my anchor. Because when you know yourself, well, when you don't know yourself, should I say, this unraveling can lead to delusion, to projection, to spiritual psychosis, all the things that we are seeing. You begin to see your shadow in everybody else. But when you've done the work and when your core is strong and when that light is steady, the unraveling isn't destruction. It's a sacred return to the self. And this is why we do the work. This is why we do the tears and the mess and all of that. Not to become something new, but to remember who we've always been. And so I'll end off with this, that I am no longer a seeker of light. I am the light. I'm raw, I'm whole, and I'm sovereign. And I am no longer dimming my light for other people's comfort. And nobody out there listening to this should either. And so I don't think there's really anything else for now, except to say that if anything here has resonated, perhaps it helps to know that you're not alone in this. And if you're somebody who's not charging for your work, if you feel like you're unraveling and you're sinking into madness, if you feel like you're attracting the crazies, and if others of you are fearful of the dark because others out there may be sharing half-truths that just continually disempower you, I give you an invitation right here and right now to step fully into your light. You are it. You are everything. So I wanted to say just, thank you so much for being here, for your continued support. As I mentioned earlier, I wouldn't be here without you. If you're new, welcome to the channel. And I see there are some comments here. Deleted social media 5 years ago, only have YouTube, 100%. You know what I really like about YouTube is that I can go in and I can go straight to my subscriptions. I can then look, and if I don't have time, I can go and put it in a watch later. But on a lot of other social media, that feed, even though supposedly I'm following all those people, it is filled with ads and other things that just try and hook you in. That's where I think YouTube's a little bit different. You actually, it helps you to be a little bit more discerning and maybe just, have that little like policeman sitting there going, no, we're not gonna sit here and just scroll for hours and hours and hours. And I think that's the other, I think really that is a plus of YouTube, is that you can have that, you can just go into your subscriptions, you can just go into your watch later. But a lot of these other social media things are not like that. And I'm tied to my brains for a little while longer in that. But as soon as those kinds of things are over, I will be off all the other social media platforms that I'm on. So I hear that. And and thank you to some of you joining me here for the live. And I see some comments and some sort of clapping hands and hearts on fire. And so just remember, you are the light, and you are your own lighthouse, and you have everything that you need within you. If anybody out there that you've been following for a while is invoking a little bit of fear for you, or it doesn't feel right, maybe it's time to move on. I mean, maybe this one, maybe my new energy is not going to resonate with people either. I'm very aware that I'll probably lose followers, but that's okay, because I want my energy to attract the people that are doing the work, that are ready to be messy. We don't get the magic without the mess. And it's not all love and light. And, we're still human, and we're really part of this journey is really just to bring in all of this stuff into the body. I mean, having that remembrance while we're in a physical body. I mean, that is the magic. I mean, imagine remembering everything that our soul is, but while we're still in physical form. Isn't that awesome? I mean, to me, that sounds a lot a lot of people who think about Jesus and that kind of thing, those kinds of stories. That's exactly what he was. he knew everything. He knew everything while he was here in physical form. I mean, I'm not religious at all, but that's the best analogy. It's just actually popped into my head. But that's really, 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 that's really what this is. We're not here to escape the body and live out there, because otherwise we'd just be in spirit. We're here to experience the raw, messy chaos of this human existence while we remember our magic. So with that, I'm going to end off today. Thank you so much. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to try and give a heart now that I'm finished, off on my tangent that I came here today to share. But sending you all so much love. Thank you again for your continued support, your presence, your comments. I'm really hoping that I'm going to be seeing some of you maybe on a membership soon, if you'd like to do a little bit of the deeper work. And please do, if you're interested. I've just loaded a video. If you click on the join button on my channel, there's a video in there that explains what the membership's for, because it isn't to keep anybody out. It's quite the opposite. So if you'd like to see that, go and check it out. I'm not going to rehash it here, but if it calls to you, just not everything I want to do publicly, because it isn't for everybody. Not everybody's ready to do that deep inner work. So so thank you so much, and thank you to all your support. Thank you for the lovely comments here. Thank you for your presence. Thank you. And yes, right back at you. Everything you're saying to me, know that I am your mirror. I am reflecting the energy that you now hold. That's the important part about this. So anything that's reflecting something back to you that, well, isn't resonant or whatever, maybe those people don't have your energy. Maybe something has slipped there. Maybe they've gone a little bit off the rails or whatever. But just know that it needs to resonate. And thank you again all so much. And so again, wishing you a magical rest of your week. I hope that this has helped you to step into your light for the rest of the week, to empower you and bring in some of that dragon fire, and just know that you've got this. It doesn't matter what's going on, that we've got this. All this madness is exactly what's meant to be happening as we return home to what we are just now remembering. So sending you all so much love, peeps. Thank you so much for joining me. Ciao.